gotten lots of questions on how do you propagate a lilac? How do you take this beautiful bush, maybe yours is purple, maybe it's white, maybe it was your grandma's or your favorite aunt's. How do you take that and start another plant? There are a couple different ways that you can do it. One is if the lilac has sent up any shoots from the base of it. So here's our big lilac bush. Go look at the base of the lilac. If there's any shoots coming out, not from the main trunk, but coming up from around it, which we don't have any on ours right now because I have already cleaned it up. But if there's anything growing around that main trunk, you can quite literally dig it up, put it in a pot, keep it in a nice, safe environment where it's not getting super stressed out. It gets a little bit of sunlight, keep the soil continually moist. That shoot will continue to grow, and I think that's the fastest way because you already have this like big growth from the lilac. Go look for that first. But let's say it's a space that you can't go dig it up, or maybe there isn't one. Maybe theirs is like ours and it already got cleaned up. Here's what you're gonna do. You're actually going to propagate it. This is the lovely bloom. You can't propagate with the bloom. You actually need to have the fresh growth. So I could use this fresh growth next to the bloom. That would work. But the main thing is, see the difference? There's this part right here that has like a woody stem, and then there's this part that has that nice green. It's very soft. It's kind of floppy. That's the part that we want. So I'm going to actually just cut that part off of this little stem here. When you cut it off, you want to make sure that you have at least one leaf set and then the top leaf set. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the bottom leaf set off, and we're going to cut off the biggest leaf up top so that all we have is this little tiny stalk. So here's where the leaves were coming out that I cut off, and we're only going to keep this one on. Some people even will cut this leaf in half, and the reason why people do that is because we want this little stalk to have the best chance at supporting its life. If there's too much growth on it, then it's going to be so focused on trying to absorb moisture to keep those leaves alive that it won't focus on root production, and we want it to focus on root production. So in order to encourage that, we have this rooting powder. I put the link in the description below, and you want to dip your stem into that rooting powder, and you can see it's covering those little nodes where those leaves were coming out, and that's good because that's where the roots will come out. Now I have my little potting cells here, and I filled these with an organic potting soil. So don't, you could use dirt just straight from the garden. The best thing though is to use potting soil because it has better drainage and it's designed to work well in a pot and not get hard and clumpy. So what I did is I made my hole first. You don't want to stick this in without having a hole because it will quite literally just wipe the rooting hormone off. So I'm gonna gently put my leaf down in there, and I'm going to tuck the soil up around it. My potting soil is already wet. I made sure that it was nice and moist. There's actually some water dripping out of the bottom because our lilacs need, anytime you propagate anything, you can propagate almost every plant. It's just some of them take longer than others. Lilacs, because it is like a woodier stem when it is in full maturity, it does take a little bit longer. So just know that you're going to be checking on these for a couple weeks. And what I do is we have them on our tray. I'm also propagating some snapdragons. You can propagate sweet peas, essentially any of the flowering, the cutting garden flowers that we grow. When I go and I pinch them, which encourages them to bush out and produce more flowers, a lot of times I will propagate the part that I pinched off the top. I'll do another video on that, but it's the same concept that you're trying to have this small little fresh growth, take the bottom leaf set off, dip it in the rooting hormone into your nice moist potting soil, put your lid on, that keeps the moisture in there. We want to make this like this greenhouse type environment. And now I'm actually going to put this into our living room in a spot where the sun does come in the window, but this isn't going to sit outside in the direct sunlight. The reason you don't want to put it out in the direct sunlight is that the direct sun is going to stress the plant out more than it can sustain. So it's going to be trying so hard to grow and to keep these leaves alive that it won't focus on root production. So we want it to be in a spot where it's happy, so it's warm, and it is getting some light. You don't want it in a dark place. It needs to get some light. So every couple days, check it. Make sure that there's still like moisture in the soil. You don't want it to be super soggy, because if it's really soggy, it will actually just rot that stem instead of allowing it to produce roots. So it's kind of this fine balance. Feel the soil. If it doesn't feel damp anymore, spritz it with like a spray bottle. That's the easiest way to keep the moisture level nice and steady in there, because you're not going to pour a bunch of water on it. You want to like spritz it with your spray bottle, and it'll probably take a week or two before you start seeing any new growth on it. Once you see the new growth, let it stay in this seed starting cell until it has a couple leaves, then transfer it into a bigger one. When you transfer it into the next size up, it can go outside at that point. It's strong enough to be outside, but baby it. It's a little tiny baby plant, so take care of it. You want to check it and make sure that it is getting enough water, and then as it continues to flourish in that pot, then it can go out wherever you want to have it in your garden. So lots more fun and gardening tips to come. We're so glad you're here doing life with us. Down in the description below, I put all sorts of great links to the rooting powder. I also put links down there to our garden planning ebook. If you are looking at your garden space and you're like, oh my goodness, I just don't know what to put where, or when to start it, or how to plant it, check out our garden planning ebook. We give you all sorts of tips. We actually give you the garden maps that we designed for our own garden to inspire you with your own space. We tell you exactly how much sun it gets and all of that goodness. And come join our email list. When you hop over to our website, we'd love to have you as an email friend. I send an email most weeks, and we fill it with like what we're baking, sourdough tips, gardening fun, but it's all of the fun of doing life together. So have a great day in your garden.